Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second edition of the International Conference on Virtual Reality. Today, we just implemented the first day of the conference. It just ended a few hours ago. And also we wanted to make a discussion panel about virtual reality. And we specifically selected the topic education because the speakers of the first day of the conference mainly focus on the education, and we thought education may be a very good topic to continue on it. And during this session, first of all, I will introduce myself, and then I will ask the participants to introduce themselves, and then we are going to ask some questions and we will discuss. First of all, my name is Dursun, a faculty member in the Department of Computer Engineering in Harran University. I'm working in the Department of Computer Engineering since 2014. And almost I am in this university for 7 years. I did my PhD degree at the University of Leicester in England, United Kingdom. My main studying area is open and distant education, because I believe the future of distant education is based on virtual reality. That's why I'm focusing on this area. That's why we are doing research on virtual reality. First of all, I would like to ask Professor Dr. Ramesh Sharma, please, can you give some more information about yourself, because the listeners may not heard you in Turkey. Please, it's your turn.
Thank you, Professor Dursun, and my colleagues, Dr. MUZAMMAL and Dr. YashPaul. I'm Ramesh Sharma, and I began my career in 1986 when I was lecturer of education in a university near New Delhi in Haryana. And then my basic background is PhD in education technology, and I am Master of Computer Applications. And I have done MSc with organic chemistry also. And in organic chemistry, the NMR spectroscopy was in organic chemistry was my favorite subject. In 1996, I joined as a regional director of Indira Gandhi National Open University. And I worked with the Indira Gandhi National Open University till 2014. And in 2015, I joined Commonwealth of Learning as its director of the Commonwealth Media Center for Asia. In between, I have worked as director of distance education in the University of Guyana, the British Guyana, which is in South America. And there the institute was the Institute of Distance and Continuing Education. So in 2009 to 2011, when I was there, I installed Moodle, the learning management system, and we introduced some online courses at that time. And it was a wonderful experience working in there. And in fact, I was fortunate enough to visit 2 regions when I was in Guyana. In India, we have the names of our states, like Haryana is a state, Gujarat is a state, but they are named as region. So region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, etc. I had the chance of visiting region 1 and region 9, and both are geographically completely different. One, all water, because of its opening in the Atlantic Ocean. Wherever you see it is all waters. And even I saw the kids of, I think, 2 years of age rowing their small boat and going from home to the school and like that. And another was the region 9, which is towards Brazil side. All the savanna fields, which I used to study when I was a school student in my geography class, that the savanna fields, they are just miles and miles you go, no, nothing, only grasslands are there. And that experience was wonderful. Then I have worked in, taught for a little short time in Fiji, the University of Fiji. There I taught education technology, but since Fiji was little far away from my home, so in the meantime, I got this opportunity call from Wawasan Open University in Malaysia. So there are three universities which are dealing with that currently. There is one Asia E University in Kuala Lumpur. Then we have Open University Malaysia, OUM, again based in Kuala Lumpur. But Wawasan Open University, it is in Penang. Penang is a beautiful island of Malaysia. So I taught there. I was teaching their education technology and learning resources. So my job was there to train faculty members for education technology. In fact, there with Dr. YashPaul, we created a course on 360-degree media in education on an open learning platform. And it is a shame that when I left Malaysia, the platform also changed their policy and they started asking me money to access it. And then they blocked my course. So it is locked up now. That course was on AR and VR in education and very popular course. So now we are planning to do something else, me and Dr. YashPaul to work on there. Currently, I am with Ambedkar University, Delhi. This is a public university by the government of New Delhi NCT region. And I'm here for instructional design. When I joined here just 2 years ago, after coming from Malaysia, we conducted some workshops for our faculty members on digital learning integrated course design. And we have created many online courses. And in fact, we were in a way, we didn't know that pandemic will come, but we were ready for it, means. So we didn't find any special challenge. The challenge were different, which when you ask some questions, then we will see those. So this is my brief background.
Thank you very much. It wasn't brief, really. It was long. Thank you very much.
For me.
Okay, we had some more information about you. Thank you very much. Now it is time, Associate Professor Dr. Mohammed MUZAMMAL. Can you give us information about yourself and your background, please? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dursun. Thank you, Professor Ramesh and Dr. Yash. I'm an associate professor and head of department at Bahria University Computer Science Department. I'm with Bahria University since 2009. Before that, I was doing a PhD with Dr. Dursun in University of Leicester. We were there roughly the same time. I actually graduated around in the second half of 2012, and Dr. Dursun, I think he graduated in the second half of 2013, I guess.
Yeah, almost.
Almost, yes. So, so I was there in the first edition of the conference, and due to this pandemic, we are having this session online. Otherwise, I think I would have loved to visit Haran again. So I've done, although mainly I do data mining. Sorry, I'm actually having flu and a bad throat. It is not COVID, thankfully, but there is some flu and some bad throat. So mainly I work in data mining and data science and related disciplines. But I also do some augmented reality. One thing which one notable project which I've done is about navigation, where real-time information is augmented on onto your mobile screen based on based on the information available from different internet sources, and So augmented reality and virtual reality, this is something what I like doing and do it like other than my main area of research. And I think in future I am interested in looking into how AI can shape up or can change augmented reality, virtual reality for better. So this is something which I'll be looking into in future probably. So
Fantastic.
for now, that's it for from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Muzammal. It was brave, actually, because I think it is about age. And now it is time for the Dr. Yash. Nice to meet you, because I think this is the first time we meet, at least online. Please tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you. And in fact, all our experienced person in front of me, I'm just at the beginning of my career. So currently, I'm working in Central Institute of Education Technology, which is a part of the NCERT under Ministry of Education, Government of India. So basically, my organization deals with all the decision making in India as far as education technology in schools are concerned, right from their research, their policies, their development of e-content, and training of all teachers from all states across the India. So I got this opportunity to be there to interact with most of the teachers from the almost all the states in India, because we are conducting that training for them. Basically, my background is from life sciences. I have a doctorate and postdoctorate in life science in geology, and I spent almost 7 to 8 years in the Himalayan region, the upper Himalayan region, from Kashmir to Arunachal, all the states, by collecting ants. Basically, my work was on ants. So I also discovered some new species of ants. But as I joined this institute, I think I almost 7 years back. So my job was to develop the curriculum, ICT curriculum, and then e-content in my subject area, and then the policies, what policies that we can render for e-content development to the other organization across the country. And currently, I'm also managing the MOOCs, massive open online courses, on our indigenous SWAM portal. And at this point of time, I'm coordinating with my team 32 courses which are currently running on the SWAM, and providing support to all the learners and the teachers across the country for school education. As I said that we are developing this e-content, so we also develop content in augmented and virtual reality. And last year in December, we launched our first app on augmented reality, where we provide the content free of cost to all the students across the country for class 9th and 10th, because we are dealing till class 12th as a school education in India. And then teacher education, the training of the teachers. So we are also developing this VR content. And as I said in my talk also, that our main two mottos that we have. The first, that we don't have the computer teachers in almost in most of the schools is in India. So we want that rather than in school education to have computer teachers, let's have the ICT to play that role. And whatever the subject teachers are there, they should handle everything. So we are providing them the training in ICT, in all aspect of ICT. And the second, the teacher should be as a prosumer, that they should not just consume the content that we develop at the national level, but they should also develop their own content, and we are providing them the training. And that's why we wanted that the what we are training them, it should be open source or at least freely available. And almost all the software that we are using in our organization, it's almost open source. And if not all open source, then at least it's a free, so that if we provide them the training, that they can develop their own content at their own places. So likewise, in augmented reality also, we find out the teams with working from the different colleges like IITs and BITS Pillani. We have a good institute over there, and we involve the students to develop the augmented reality content and train our own teachers and faculties. The second, also in virtual reality, we are again using the open source or the freely available software, so that the low cost or the free, because whatever the content we are developing, we are giving that content under open licenses, most probably this Creative Commons license CC BY SA share alike, so that if anyone can find our content good and they want to translate, because India is very diverse, we don't have just English or we don't have just Hindi, we have English, Hindi, Urdu, Malayalam, Punjabi, so many languages we have, and the teachers are teaching the students in different languages. So for example, we are developing some content in English language, so at least the people who are using that content in Punjab, they are able to translate that content. Likewise, we develop our augmented reality app, and we are providing the voiceover within the augmented reality in English language. And in some teachers in Punjab, they intend to translate that content in Punjabi, and then we will also provide that content in Punjabi in the same app. So that's why this is our 2-3 mottos that we are working on, and this is about me. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your background. I think we have a common things. I think educational technology is our common area, and we will understand each other, I think. And I'm not going to jump into the directly.
One thing, Dr. Dursun.
Yeah,
So,
just a little bit.
let me make a guess. I think Dr. Yash, he looks from Punjab in India.
I'm from Jammu and Kashmir.
Oh, you are from Jammu and Kashmir. And
Very
Dr.
near to
Ramesh,
Yeah.
you are from
My
where?
map is not good. Okay.
No,
Let's
YashPaul ji,
jump into the distance education first.
Muzammal is asking which area you are from in Jammu and Kashmir.
I'm from Kathua.
Okay, so we migrated from Jammu maybe like 70 years ago.
Okay.
So our elders, they migrated from Jammu. Yeah.
Okay.
You are.
That's nice.
I didn't know that, man.
So we are from the same region, you see.
Exactly.
You mean you or your family?
My family, of course, my grandfather.
Your grandfather. Okay. Okay. Before jumping into the virtual reality and augmented reality, let's start with distant and face-to education and walk step by step, and then let's talk about virtual and augmented reality, or even hologram technologies. Okay. My first question is to expert.
All are expert.
So let's start with, what is the difference between open and distant education? Do you think open education is theory, or it is first implemented with distant education?
Okay, you can understand it in this way, that distance education basically is where there is a physical separation of the teacher and the student.
Okay.
So when we teach it, to bridge that gap, we use various technology means or something like that. But that distance education can still work within the rigid framework of, say, some sort of, curriculum designs or infrastructural values or institutional policies or something. But in open education, there is a big degree of flexibility. Flexibility in terms of course completion, flexibility in terms of admission, the choices, the instructional delivery, course delivery, assessment processes, etc. So the big difference which separates both of them means it is an extension. If we see the continuum, how it we went, emergence from the correspondence courses up to the distance education, up to open and distance learning, going to the web-based education, then leading to mobile education, and the current state of ubiquitous education, which means learning anywhere, anytime, ubiquitous learning, So these things. So there is a progression into it. So in a nutshell, the big difference is of the flexibility, which makes it more powerful.
Okay. I'm going to ask the same question to MUZAMMAL. Let's take his opinions. What is the difference between open and distance education? And Ramesh specified flexibility for the open education and distance, physical distance for the distance education.
Um, Thank you, Dr. Dursun. So, first of all, the university where I teach, we teach basically on campus. We don't do distance education, but due to COVID-19, we had to go to distance education. So what has happened that we were forced to adopt to distance education, and although it is not open, but still we are trying to achieve the same objectives as we do with the on-campus education. So I think now is probably the need and the momentum which we will build for the adaptation of augmented reality and virtual reality into academics. So this COVID will actually help virtual reality and augmented reality to become mainstream in education. And the reason why I'm saying this is because many computing concepts and many engineering concepts, they are very hard to understand from the book or in an online lecture if no augmented or virtual reality is being used. So I think probably now we are thinking very seriously that how to adopt our teaching where we are using ideas from virtual reality and augmented reality to explain concepts to students in a way which is more understandable, and students they are able to learn better. So I think we are in a time where we see a rise in the adoption of virtual reality and augmented reality for not only for distance education but also for on-campus education.
What about open education?
Open education, I think, so because we are not very familiar with the open education. So I think what Dr. Ramesh said, I would agree to that. And I think we can take the opinion from Dr. Paul, what he has to say on it.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, please, Dr. Yash.
Thank
What
you
is the
very much, sir.
Let me repeat my questions. What is the difference between open and distance education?
Yeah, my institute, we are basically not teaching directly to the students in face-to-face mode. What we are developing the content and online courses for the students and the teachers for their faculty development programs. So as far as we are concerning, our online education is open, and it is we are providing the courses through our unilateral SWAYAM indigenous SWAYAM portal, which was launched by Government of India in 2017, and all our courses right from coming there, and these courses are open. If I say in open as a part other than open education, other courses are, in that case they are open, that anyone can join these courses irrespective of their age, irrespective of their qualification, and irrespective of the content of the or the license of the content. So So for example, currently I'm running one course on food nutrition. So I have analyzed the data in previous cycle, and I find out that the lowest age that a person joined that courses is of 12 years old. A kid joined that course, and the highest age was 42 years that grown up person that have joined. And people from India, and especially 47% people, they have joined from the African countries, because the government of India has signed MOU with the some of the African countries to provide them the support for e-content and these courses. And few peoples like 0.1% they from the Americans, maybe 1 or 2% are joined from there, and one from the UK, like this one. So these are the open. What I think Professor Ramesh can know better what is actually, the open education and what is the distance education now. Thank you.
Yeah, that means in summary, you emphasize the open because everyone can join from different places.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
but what is distance if it is open?
Distance, if we compared in that point, then distance, it is designed for some specialized people, and there's some is prerequisite over there. So for example, if one course is a specialized course is running in distance education, then I'm saying that this is the prerequisite qualification to join these courses. To you can do this course without coming to the university or without coming to the college. This is the distance education. But in open, this prerequisite, there is no term like prerequisite, you can join that course. But I definitely saying, if the course is specialized, then I'm saying this is the prelim course. To join this course is available. If you do that course at priority level, that will be better. Otherwise you are welcome over there.
Okay, thank you very much, Yash. Let's go back to Professor Ramesh. Yeah. Okay. I think we didn't get a concrete answer, I think, yet. Yeah. I'm asking the same question again. What is the difference between open and distance education, sir?
Okay, no, I told that the uh, the big difference is, as the name indicate, in
Okay.
terms of its modality of operations. When we are offering these services, like in distance education, the purely distance education sense, when it happens, the students, they don't come to a particular place to study. Wherever they are, means the informal education, the student goes to the institution. In distance education, institution goes to the student. So that is the separation is the big difference. But in open education, basically the characteristic feature here is adoption of open education practices. So there we adopt open education practices. That makes the difference.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me also give my opinions express. When I look at the textbooks, to the definition of open education, it says learning at anywhere, at any time. That means flexibility. But when we look at the distance education, all of them is saying distance, physical distance. That means when we go from open education to distance education, that means we just cut some of it. That means at any time learning, but not anymore like we say anywhere at any time, flexibility time, but we need places. For example, distance education is based on places. You must be in a place. It is not imaginary situation anymore. That means you need a building or like a closed area. For example, even if you are learning something in the bus stop, you need an area. That means when you look at the, I think, open education, I think Alfredo also come here, let me admit it. Open education is more wide, flexible, give a flexible to all people, but distant education, not so much, because you need a place. I think when we look at the open education and then distant education, and then e-learning is coming. Actually, electronic learning is coming, and when we go from wide point to, I think, narrow point, you start giving just living some points, like anywhere, anytime. For example, in e-learning, anytime is possible. But when we look at synchronous learning, anytime is not possible anymore. I mean, I think open means flexibility from every perspective. But when we say that distant education is not flexible anymore, this is my opinion. And I think Alfredo is here. Welcome, Alfredo, Professor Doctor. I think
Alfredo, please switch on your camera and microphone.
Oh, now.
Yes.
No. I was talking without phone. Okay, I'm here. Hello.
Welcome
we do
to
not
our
see you.
discussion panel, sir. Can you just switch on your camera, please? We want to see your face.
My face.
Okay.
Yes, smart.
Because we are in election day today, and then I'm not normal now.
It doesn't matter. For example, MUZAMMAL is under the, I think, blanket. No, there is no problem.
Okay. Okay, just a minute.
Okay, take your time. Okay, okay. I think we had enough topic here. Let's go to the, I think we discussed the open and distant education. Let's go to electronic learning. And I think let's mention about the history of electronic learning a little bit. I think we started with the print technology and then moved to TV and radio, something like that, and then web, internet. And it's becoming into virtual reality. We will approach to the virtual reality very soon. But let's try to understand the history of the I think open education. It started with idea, flexibility, especially at any time, at anywhere, and then try to help the people who are living in far from the center of schools. Especially, as you know, it started with the religious rationals, like people wasn't able, if they were, some people were not able to reach the church to learn the Bible, and they were studying religious reasons. Okay, I think here's the. I think Ramesh can answer this question. Please tell us the history of distant education, actually open education.
Yeah, it is believed that two factors. One was the same one, that the people, those who were not able to come to the church, so they, the teachings, they were printed and sent to them so that they can make themselves aware. The second is believed a more logical reason for it. We believe that it started with Isaac Pitman, who is believed to be the, the father of stenography, the shorthand. And during those times, because the industrial revolution, maybe you can call it as the IR1, or mostly
Ramesh está
maybe.
pedindo que eu assista aqui uma coisa. Eu vou assistir em silêncio com fone de ouvido.
Okay, let mute him. And please go on.
Was he asking some question or just talking?
He's talking in Brazil languages.
Okay.
Portuguese? Yeah, he's talking Portuguese.
Yes,
okay.
We see him now.
He's here.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So hope Alfredo, you have voted for a strong candidate.
Okay. Okay, because he welcomed here, let's try to clarify the discussion panel. Alfredo, you just started 5 minutes ago. At the beginning of the discussion panel, we just introduced ourselves, but you didn't. Now it is time to introduce yourself to the listeners because they didn't know about you very well. Can you just give you some information about your background?
About my background?
Yeah, please. Who are you?
The next
Okay.
president of Brazil,
Wow.
because it is election day today.
God save me. God save me from that.
God save all us.
I don't want this work now. Okay. I'm Alfredo MATTA from Salvador. Is a city from the Nordeste from Brazil. And I work at UNEB, Universidade do Estado da Bahia, in Portuguese. I work with, well, I think I work with a mix. I'm a bit historian and educator, and I work with distance education to history, okay, to teach history. And well, my research is about virtual museums and something about virtual digital educational games. But the game we research is not, the point is not the image modeling, because my interesting point is the collaborative construction of the how to say roteiro in English, of the story, okay? The people who want to write together a story online, and then we will build a kind of vertebral column of many way to the story, and people will engage in write collectively the details. It is a kind of online work. Well, these two are the mainly subjects that I research. We have a third point of research now. In fact, a third and a fourth one, because now we are studying how to build web TV in YouTube, how to construct this in a better quality to distance learning, to support distance learning. And I researched too the method, design-based research. I write a lot about the design-based research method. I don't know if you want more. It is my background. Well, I am Ramesh friend.
Thank you very much for the brief introduction. I think it's enough.
Thank you.
We just started to introduce ourselves and then we ask some question. I think the main topic of discussion panel was education, because based on the speakers of the first day of the international conference. And I just asked the first question, what is the difference between open and distance education? I don't know, maybe you can answer because it may be a little bit far from your area. But if you want, you can answer. What is the difference between
Okay.
open and distance education?
Okay. Okay, if you have
Possibly
questions.
you heard on pandemic days, because distance education is more popular, but we also are trying to understand its difference from open education.
Okay.
Ramesh can help.
I think it is different, really. Well, I prefer open education. I think I am studying open education. It is the problem with my English. Okay.
Okay. We are waiting your answer.
I prefer open education than distance education.
And the reason for that, why Means in what way you find it better than distance education?
Well, as I think, um, open education is more open, really. You know, it
Yes.
is the difference. Okay,
Yeah.
distant education is very strongly structured. Okay, strongly. I think it is more linear, more rigid.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I prefer the flexible learning. I think I listened what you told before.
Okay.
Good. We
Okay,
also had the same
let's
opinion.
continue where we left. After this question, we asked the history of the distance education to Professor Ramesh. He was just going to answer. You just came here. Now, let's ask the same question to Ramesh. Can you tell us the history of the distance education, please? And I think you were talking about first theory is Bible.
Okay, so it is believed that the people, because it was the age of industrialization, and we were using manual typewriters during those days. So anybody who has the knowledge of shorthand was getting jobs, and it became a good career option. So people wanted to learn about it. But Isaac Pitman cannot go all the places to teach the people. So what he started preparing, say, paper-based lessons and sending it over to the people who want to learn. It is believed that the distance education emerged means in its rudimentary form of correspondence education from there, and the mode got very much popular. But however, a major change and difference came by the establishment of United Kingdom Open University, which is considered to be the first open university of the world in 1960s, the early 60s, and it became a very, very popular model. In fact, in India, the Indira Gandhi National Open University is based on the model of UKOU. But in India, the distance education emergence is very big. Somewhere around 1960, the first the Delhi School of Correspondence courses was established in Delhi University as the School of Correspondence and Continuing Education in 1962. And the first open university in India was the um, uh, Andhra Pradesh Open University, later on renamed as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University in 1982. In 1985, IGNOU was established, and currently there are around 17 open universities for higher education, and we have the biggest biggest open schooling system in the world, that is the National Institute of Open Schooling there. So the history, the transition has happened that from the paper-based education, means the correspondence education, it transformed into distance education because basically the drawback in correspondence education was only the education limited to the paper-based, means I send you the written material, the written book, you study it, give your examination. So there was a big quality question mark on that. And to fill up that gap, it was believed that let us have some contact sessions where the students, they will come and meet the teacher, they will discuss their problems, talk to about the content, and then so that was. But still the major portion was means the student living somewhere, the course material being sent to them by post. So the postal medium was much more stronger still in distance education. However, over a period of time, it was believed that, and particularly that was eased with the introduction of media into it. First, it was the low-level media, then the high-tech media, and now then due to the emergence of open education policies, the framework was changed, and at present, the most recent things are believed that with the emergence of GPT-3, the kind of applications, the Internet of Things, the blockchain technology, etc., the things have changed drastically in the world about in the field of ODL or distance education. So this is a brief, overview of what has happened. There are certain variations from region to region, say like in Asia or in Europe or in Americas, but broadly everywhere, we believe that, as Professor James Taylor of Australia, he has given 5 generations of distance education, starting with correspondence education, moving on to with the help of the internet technology, the computer based, the mobile technology, and the internet things coming. So the structure, the modality, the format, it has drastically changed.
Okay. Do you want to also answer this question, Professor Alfredo? What do you know about the history of the distance education? Your microphone is off.
About what?
History.
Can you tell us about the history of distance education?
History.
A little bit.
Okay. What we are doing, yes, with history.
Yeah, history.
Is it?
What type of material are used? For example, it started with the print and then radio, TV.
Okay. Well, in Brazil, we are into a public university. Then we have an structure.
You have a university, something like that, in your country?
Well, the real curriculum we have to the state, to the government, it is distance education. We are trying to build open education with our materials, with some methods. We are trying to make difference between what the government tell us to do and what we really do. You know, it is we are trying to opposite the government. I don't know if I explain it. And then the way we are doing some flexible learning is exactly the kind of museum we are building, because then we exercise a kind of public history. Do you understand? Public history. It is what we are doing. It is more open. We have a theoretical organization that we ask the communities to contribute to this, okay? And then we build together and flexibly, I think it is flexible. The knowledge we built between the university knowledge and the people knowledge. We are talking all the time, the university and the community, and the result we have is a result fruit of this dialogue. I think it is a way to make an opposition to the normal distance learning they have, okay? And normally they have distance learning. We are trying to break this and to make a difference.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. I think, as you know, maybe you know, you don't know, the Republic of Turkey is founded in 19 because of the foundation and the managers and leaders of the Turkey try to educate people as soon as possible, and they try to use the methods of distance education because it was started in the Europes. However, it wasn't common across the Turkey until 1980s. But in 1980s, distance education is just started and spread across the Turkey. As Ramesh pointed, it started with the mailing the materials to the cities, to the villages, and it also continued until I think 5 years ago. Just another university just left it, the use of the material, because internet connection is becoming better every day in the Turkey, even in villages. Okay, and they said there was no purpose sending course material like textbooks or something to the villages, because everyone can just obtain the electronic version of them, because it is very difficult to update the textbook search if something is there are mistakes something, because it is easy to update the electronic version of the textbook just when you just change the, from the center of the server, and everyone can reach to the updated version of the textbooks, and they left it. But we continued until the 2015 with the use of the textbook material. Whenever we registered to the university, enrolled in the university course, we were, because I was the first students maybe in 20s, for example. I learned many modules just by reading the textbooks. But now still I am a student in open education, but I never seen any textbook anymore. Just I am connecting to the web and browsing the textbook, electronic version of the textbook. But we also started with the mailing the course material to students, especially in the villages. And then I think TV and radio in Turkey was set up, and it became very common because we had I think TRT school TV. For example, that TV from the morning to evening was public broadcasting the course material, including but basic one like mathematics, Turkish language, not specific courses, more general, because they want to educate the people and to increase their literacy rate in Turkey by using the technology. It was the first attempt in, I think, 1990s. And then in 2020s, we started to publish the material electronically. For example, we started just to take the records of the students online, but we still did the exam and offline. I mean, face-to-face, and we still sent the course material to students. But the web exists in today because the internet came to the Turkey, I think, in 1996. I just remembering because even I remember I just met with the internet in 1996 or 7, because maybe 19. I don't remember very well because it is very quick. It started, and now we are everything is becoming online, for example, because everything is becoming online. But for a few years we are talking about augmented and virtual reality in distance education, but technology is so quick, but not so quick for everyone. So it is so quick, but not quick for everyone, because it becoming barrier for some people, because technology is dependent on distance education is becoming more and more dependent on technology nowadays in Turkey. For example, if tomorrow some university started a course like you will take all the course by virtual reality, how many people has virtual reality class? Yeah, that means we started with the open education. It was free for everyone. For example, it was the idea was the open, anytime learning at any time, anywhere. But now it's becoming more narrow, and it is not everyone anymore. Only for some specific people. For example, in 19 toward the end of the 19th, if you have internet, that means you are the part of the distance education. After that, if you have fiber net internet or good internet, because everything is based on the YouTube, that means you need a very good internet download, and upload speed must be very good, because you are downloading everything from the YouTube. Now is you need a smartphone, because there is no desktop application anymore. Everything is based on the iPhone and Android. You are downloading, and I imagine 5 years later, everyone will say, if you have a virtual reality glass, that means you are the part of the open education. Or not, it's becoming more narrow. Because I am telling this because I am in the department of computer engineering. Distance education started with education, but now it is a duty of engineers, for example, because everything is based on the applications and the hardware and software needed. In the past, people were writing textbook and were mailing to the students. But now, it's not possible to write a virtual reality games by everyone. For example, you can't write it, problem. And Turkey is facing this because many students in Turkey have access to the hardware, to the internet, but we are discussing their experiences with ICT, their attitudes. Okay, for example, they don't believe distance education will be easy or useful for them. For example, they prefer the face-to-face education because of not hardware, not software, because of they don't believe in. For example, nowadays we have experience about this, too much experience, because students, because of pandemic, we forced them to take the I think advantages of distance education, but it doesn't work very well, because now all the world is now dependent on the use of Zoom. There is no choice. Everyone is using Zoom. For example, countries don't have their own software. For example, everything is how can I say English? I don't know, but there is only one company and managing the world. For example, if Zoom crashed, if their server has happened something, and distance education ended. And Turkey is, but we left the print now, but because we don't have any problem with internet electricity. But if we have problem tomorrow, internet electricity, that means we are looking for textbooks. We will start.
Yes,
Because
yes.
textbooks was I think it was a great material for everyone, because it wasn't dependent on anything. Just if you are literate, it's enough. Now, after internet, you have a computer. After web 2, you have a very good internet connection. After we are coming to that means open education now is becoming very closed education. Okay, now it's time for the Yash, I think. This is a perspective from Turkey. I think you are also in India, but you are different area, I think, and you are more experienced. Maybe you are listening to complaints of the teachers every day about distance education, because you have, I think, we are living in the center of the distance education. I think you have more experience. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir, very much. In fact, as I said earlier, India is very diverse, and diversity not just in one thing, but in various things. Because within region, within religion, within geographical, so barrier, the geographical barrier, and the this digital divide is a big gap in India. We cannot say that we are sitting in a city and we are highly educated using the ICT. No, it's just like the fingers in a hand. If you go to the rural places, you will find some people who are using this ICT in a very beautiful manners. And then you will find the people, teachers and the students in cities, in metro cities also, they don't know what other schemes of ICT which are running, which are especially running for the government. But as far as education in India is a state affair, the states are responsible for their own ICT and education technology, but definitely they are getting the grants from the central budget. And at the central level, ministry is running various schemes in ICT that can be benefited to the states. So one such scheme, if we go, because our national education policy 2020 was just released, I think, two and a half months back. So
Yes.
under this education policy, we have mentioned, the government of India have mentioned a large scale, using this, not just the ICT, but including AI and augmented and virtual and mixed reality. And under this, we will have one nation, one platform, which is Diksha. And hopefully this Diksha is currently coming to we people at NCERT, at our institute. And under this, 12 DTS channels, one channel for each class, right from the class 1 to 12, is running, what not officially launched. The channels are running from this September, because it was supposed to be launched on Teachers Day in India on 5th September. But our former president of India, one of our president, was expired unexpectedly before 5th March. So the plan was postponed, but till now we didn't get the date what channels are currently running. And there is a coherence of this DTS channel and this portal, because we have provided the QR code on every video which is running on the DTS channel. And if any learner want to scan that that code with Diksha app, so ultimately it land to that content. And the content which is available as a audio, video and simulations, and not, as you said, because it's very difficult to provide the augmented and virtual reality content within the same app, because it requires a different containers. What a link is given, that this content is available as a augmented reality content. So this is what, if we go to the grassroots level for the technology, we still have the problem. uh, because we are launching the very initiative time to time, and because of this COVID, even my institute came out with that what teachers should teach the students within the coherence that we have provided. Likewise, within this week, during this COVID time, the teacher should concentrate on this one online, and students find all the resources over there. But I'm getting so many calls personally. So the problem, because they don't have that good smartphone. Even some people are complained that they don't have the enough memory to install the app. Okay, so the problem is still there, and it's a very diverse in India. I remember, because I worked with both the previous governments also, although this is the second term of the same government, but I also got an opportunity to work with the last government also. And at that time, when the state secretaries, education secretaries, they are coming to the center for meetings, the first complaint was the internet. They don't have the internet connectivity at that time. But thankfully to this Reliance company, the Geo, if I'm talking good, Sharma sir, so the overnight the internet problem was solved. So internet now is there, but they don't have the gadget to use that internet. Okay. And as you said, it's because the software, as I said, that we are working mostly on open source software which are available, because we know that otherwise it will be difficult for the teachers. If I say, for example, simple video editing, if I give them the training on Adobe Premiere or this Mac Pro, definitely they don't have this one. So we are training on video development by using the editor. If you see the video that I sent you as my backup video, is what it was edited with OpenShot editor only by me, by myself. So likewise, this we are providing. But in augmented reality, we just trained a bunch of teachers. Actually, we have one scheme which is a national ICT award. The government of India is giving 2 awards to teachers every year. One is the national award for teachers, which gives at the end of the service, that now these teachers are under their service and they are nominated for the award of teachers. But we have another award, which is National ICT Award, which is given to only those young peoples who, irrespective of the limited resources, they have used the ICT in their schools and train the teachers and other. And hopefully we have all these teachers in all the states, and they are basically our stakeholders. And whatever we are doing at the national level, we involving these teachers and we are training them. And other agencies like Microsoft, Adobe, Google in India, mostly they are taking up these fellows because these are nominated by we people as an national ICT awardees. So that we have a plus point in augmented reality. As I started, we started it 2 years back, and I said that I launched our this first augmented reality app last December. So we trained a bunch of people, and at this point time, not in the night but in the day, we are one workshop we are also running in the online, which is in the state of Gujarat. So the teachers are in state of Gujarat, they are developing the content at this point of time also. And if we go to the virtual reality, we have not think of launching this virtual reality till date to the school education system, because we don't have it definitely require the VR box and other hardware also. So currently we have developed the content that I have also shown in my video also, but we are doing in this way. So it's a just like, as I said, the fingers in the hand. If we have the technology, what we are unable to render that technology at the lower level, because they are devoid of the gadgets, and they don't have that that much grant may be possible, because the states are doing at the level wise. That's the first level, second level. Some states are doing very good. If you go at the south, the states like Karnataka, Kerala, they're doing very well. But if you go some of the states like in the northeast, so currently we need to reach out these states also. So this is the situation that we have feel that if Professor Sharma would like to add something in this. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Mohammed, are you sleeping now? Get out of the blanket.
It is going nearly midnight in our
Oh my God.
Midnight.
Yeah.
I think we need to finish very quickly. I think there are many things to talk. I think this is a very wide topic.
Yeah.
But let me ask the same question to Mohammed. What is the situation in Pakistan about open education?
Okay, in Pakistan, we have one university, which is Allama Iqbal Open University. And this is about distance education. Then we have another university, which is Virtual University. And that is also about distance education, but that is for mainly for technology and engineering courses. But the thing is that the virtual university, they are only using like video lectures to deliver the content, whereas the open university, they give education in more like traditional subjects such as uh, sorry, such as humanities, history, culture, education, these kind of things. So we do have the support from the government for both for science and technology subjects, and also for humanities and social sciences subjects. But I think what we don't do here in Pakistan too much is using the augmented and virtual reality in our distance education. So I think this is something which is an improvement area.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. I think everyone, I think you want to sleep. Okay, because of this reason, I will ask this last question. Maybe tomorrow we can do another discussion panel early and not.
Dursun, it should be fine. No problem. We can continue. It's fine.
Alfredo is just showing the beach of the city. Maybe you want to go there. I don't know. Okay, my last question is about virtual reality. In 2010, I did a survey about e-learning, and I asked the question, are you ready for e-learning? To teachers and to students. And we discussed the component of e-learning readiness from many points like experience, confidence, attitudes, readiness, something like that. Some people believe the advantages of distance education. Some didn't believe the usefulness and easiness of distance education because of two reasons. Students want to go to the campus because they want to social life. The second reason, because students, teachers don't believe they can teach the application, laboratory education with e-learning, because they believe students must develop their hands-on skills by going into laboratory. Now my question is, do you think virtual reality can replace the laboratory education maybe in few years later? Because in the past, with e-learning, it wasn't possible, like based on the computer, desktop. But now with with virtual reality, students can control the components in the virtual laboratory. For example, even can do an electrical circuit experiment. But social life also is becoming possible because secondary life is a social life project. As you know, Ramesh is expert with that. I think you have Avatar, and Alfredo, you have Avatar in Second Life? No. Who have an Avatar, another life in Second
No,
Life? You have it.
no. Yes, we have the system Second Life, but
Ramesh also have. Yash, do you have it?
yes.
You have it. And
Here in,
Mohammed, do you have it? Do you have any Avatar in the Second Life?
I am RCS Darwin in Second Life. Darwin
have
was
it.
the name of Charles Darwin.
Because
You go there.
the question I asked in 2010 was a possible answer, but now with virtual reality, social life and laboratory education can be possible. What do you think about this? Let's start with Ramesh.
Okay, I think given the kind of technology and the software development happening, there are bright chances that it may happen. Let me give you some examples. First of all, nowadays you see AlphaGo and those kind of technologies which have excelled to that level of matching the human intelligence. Those things are there. Then you may be knowing the youngest, he is an Indian professor, perhaps at MIT, Pranav Mistry, very famous with his sixth sense technology, developing those kind of sensors. If you simply click it, it will take the photograph and like that. Last year, in association with Samsung Technologies, they have created certain humanoids and they were displayed in some exhibition somewhere over there, those things. And already there are platforms, the virtual lab platforms, which are allowing our students to work on that. In fact, Dr. YashPaul was telling about our national education policy, which has just been recently around 2 months ago released. There is one special chapter in that on virtual labs, because many schools, due to the infrastructure issues, the financial issues, cannot establish the brick and mortar kind of labs. So the virtual labs and the education is focusing on that area. So the kind of technology, you have the 3D printing is already there. Holographic images is possible. Our Prime Minister, this current second term, The Prime Minister used his holographic image for canvassing. Standing in one place is being visible in 300 other places like that. So you never know. Right now we are, using this Zoom, but maybe next year, without Zoom, I will be physically present in Harani University with my 3D.
Third edition of the International Conference on Virtual Reality will be hologram.
Yes, yes, hologram. So there are possibly means very high chances of that these things may happen. You already know the flight simulators are there. Means for pilot training. One I was giving a lecture in Guyana, the neighborhood of Alfredo, the British Guyana, and one lecturer asked me that, can you learn swimming online? So I told him that, look, I cannot swim. Means so far I never learned swimming, but I know that people learn flying of the plane. So, and they all started laughing about that. So when you have simulators with you, those many things, so technology has, gone very means advanced.
Yeah, please, Alfredo, what do you think about social life
Okay.
can be with in the future with virtual reality?
Okay. Well, to me, the problem is there are always someone who concept the virtual world. Then the students and we, on the other side, we are always get what some other thinks about the world when we are into a virtual world that other person project. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The problem is, I think we need to put our student to think about the virtual lab they use. They need to project virtual worlds, and they need to live virtuality into the world they project. It is what we do in that virtual museum I showed you in the morning. The students, they are into the project. They are thinking about the virtuality. And then when finally it is ready, it is, they are the owners. I don't know if I explain me. In Portuguese, it is easy, okay? But they are the owners of the project. It is my, what I am busy, what I am thinking about, okay? How to make the students owners of the virtual environment they are planning and living, and well, then the virtual world will be never finished. We will never finish the virtual world, because all the times there are one student or other that said, wow, I want to change that. It's not correct. And then we have a lot of cycles of remodeling. Then the modeling is the class. I don't know if you understand what I am saying. No, the act to modeling virtual worlds, it is very educational. And then we try to make the students in our aural experience. They think about what they modeling.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. Oh, and what about the guy under the blanket?
That is the real blanket, not the virtual blanket.
Really. What do you think about the future of the virtual reality? Can help or can replace the social life and laboratory?
So I think if we say that it will be part of it, then maybe this will be more appropriate at this time. But I think we can't say that it will replace the laboratory teaching, but it will aid into laboratory teaching, and we probably will see maybe parts of laboratory teaching as being taught as virtual reality or augmented reality, and some parts will still be in the laboratory. So I think it will be more uh, like we will see some uh, sorry. So I think we will see virtual reality and augmented reality introduced into these subjects, but we probably will not see AR and VR replacing the laboratory teaching.
Okay, let me another question. Do you think there will be a laboratory in the future? Because companies becoming very big companies and they are doing everything. 10 years later, for example, Intel processor. Only one company is just generating the cores and processors. In the future, I believe in the future, maybe 20 years, 30 years later, there will be no laboratory in the education system because there is no need. There will be no need for the laboratory education because companies will do everything. And some just few people will do a laboratory, like some smart people in the Intel, few people, just 4 or 5 people will be enough for the 7 million people. Or
So I think
but what do you mean laboratory education? For now, I understand. What about 20 years later?
so I think what you are saying is like dreaming into the future, right?
Not dreaming, 20s, man.
So if you want us to have a dream into the future, maybe we should sleep and then we can tell what will happen.
Yeah,
Because
the right time.
I remember 10 years, 10 years ago, because I graduated from the electricity program. We had a lecture, pneumatic, okay, by using the relic pneumatic. Now we are doing everything by simulation. And I was doing an electric circuit. Now I use a PSpice. I
So
was doing
Never know.
simulator
Actually,
because
I
nobody
remember.
don't generate hardware anymore. It is just for big companies.
I remember a statement by the famous educationist Marshall McLuhan. And when television was introduced into education, he proclaimed that, oh, now there is no need for the schools because the students, there is no need for them to go to the schools because they can watch everything on the television. And I think that the schools will be closed down. No school was closed down, but you see, once upon a time, the overhead projector, it was considered as the top of the technology. So you have those transparent sheet, making them and that. But nowadays, people don't know. People do not know what is a floppy disk because the
Yeah,
technology has changed. So
and
you never
computer
know.
scientists, computer engineering. I'm asking the people, have you touched any, memory in the computer case?
so
They said, no,
so
we never touch it. But in my for example, 10 years ago, I was opening the case and I was looking at the
so
motherboard, something like that. But
Dr.
they don't
Dursun,
know. Yes, please.
let me give you an analogy. So when I learned programming, we
Okay.
even used to write a string compare routine. Like we used to code in C++, and we will write a string compare routine where we will exactly specify how two strings will be compared, right?
You
And
mean
now,
microcontroller?
I mean, in writing the software. But
Okay.
now what is happening? People They have a user control, which is the login control. They just drag and drop that control into their form.
By
And
icons.
yeah, so I mean, things will change, you are right. But this does not mean that something will be eliminated. This will be enhanced by the use of AR and VR. But it will be in a different shape, but it will not be eliminated. This is what I want to say.
If something is not able to adapt to the changes, it you never know, like dodo, it may become extinct. But otherwise, it will definitely evolve. You know, GPT-3, now the future of coding is believed that the humans, they don't need to. Google technology is already there, that the software is writing the code and the software is developing the software. Yeah,
guys, I have something to say.
please.
I think the real problem, okay, connectivity is a problem, technology is a problem, support technology is a problem. They are problems. But if we have all the technology without the correct methodology, it is nothing. I think we need to use uh, educational methodologies. How to say, in connection with that new way, that new age. Okay, we need collaborative methodology to teach and to learn and to think about subjects. And the technology we have now, it is what is good in open education, better than distance education. We are able to give power to one who wants to study. And then we need to have methodology, appropriate methodology to construct the dialogue between teachers and students more collaboratively, more flexible, and more, one word I've learned with Mr. Ramesh, ubiquitous, more ubiquitous learning, you know? And then I think the biggest concern we have, if with methodology, it is more important than the technology, as I think.
Thank you very much, Alfredo. What about Yash? Do you think there will be love in the future? And so I would like to specify, we are not
He will
comparing
be,
face-to-face
he,
education
he,
with the
he will be
open
the
education.
first person to become virtual person.
Okay. We are not
Yeah.
comparing, just we are asking questions. Virtual reality can replace the social life and laboratory, but there is no comparison because there is no end. Because some people always will defend the face-to-face education, some people will always defend the open education, and they will not, never change their opinions. But we are just discussing the situation. Do you think there is there will be a lab in the future? Because I know from my experience, 10 years ago, what I did, I don't know. Just I do everything by simulation. And many of my students even don't open the case of computer. And they don't know what is memory, what is motherboard, what is processor. They don't know. Just I use it the software now. Yes, please, Dr. Yash.
Yeah, predictions are always made on the basis of history. And history, I just came through the four people in front of me, and we are always in a transition phase, and no technology is being fixed. Say, for example, if Professor Sharma has talked about that transparency that we are using, that was not fixed. It was, laid down by some other new technologies, and technologies is always in the evolution phase, and we are always on in a transition phase because we are experience the technology that we use from the our childhood, and the technology that we are acquiring while working like this augmented and virtual reality. Not an issue if HoloLens 2 is there, everything what's happening in front of you, what still I believe, if not less than almost more than 90% of the population of the world don't know the difference between augmented and virtual reality. And same 5 to 10% people are actually experience the next generation of virtual reality by using that HoloLens 2. Okay, so that's a difference was there right from the beginning of this humankind, and it will be there. But as I believe, the technology should be work with our regular teachings, regular classrooms as a supplementary things. And if we remember, Professor Alfredo talked about the open is more, good than the distance. So distance, why? Because you can use it anywhere. Just like, say, for example, I'm working on virtual reality, and I need a script that within my 360 panorama, I want not just one image, what the different images to be displayed in front of me. And then I have at least, I think, 30 to 40 BTech, MTech, or MCA graduate that working along with B people. What they don't know how to do it because they are from the technical background, but they don't know what is augmented and virtual reality. Okay, so that's kind of things are still existing over there. And as I believe that definitely, and one thing I'm always saying in my lectures, that within 5 to 10 years your TV screen will go off. You all have that virtual, not the virtual set, but at least the goggle to say at that time 5 to 10 years, because technology is changing very fast. Okay, so definitely that going to change the future, and that definitely going to change the social life also. But I think if we go walk the things together, that will be better. And if we see that this social media don't give that social space, if I hope you are understanding my point.
Yeah.
So like in this way, this virtual reality uh, will be taking us alone together, not with the physical social life, because I will be feeling social inside this box, but I will be feeling alone. So if we use both the technologies together, it's a good. But definitely this virtual and augmented reality has that potential, has that power, that the concept that we are not able to understand in education, no, we can see or we can visualize them easily with the help of these technologies.
Thank you very much, Yash. Again, we don't discuss whether distant education replaced the face-to-face education or face-to-face education replaced distant education. We don't compare that. We just discussing the situation, because even in my PhD degree, I just compared the blended learning, face-to-face education, and distant education. Of course, blended learning was the best one, based on the result of the students' success, because they should work together. But we are discussing the future, for example. Yes, they can work together. Everyone wants to eat, and as you see, distant education is becoming more and more important every day, and people who are defending the face-to-face educations and generate some just specify the disadvantages of distant education every day, but just pointing social life, hands-on skill like that. But virtual reality and with the support of the augmented reality now is answering these questions. That's why even we are now discussed at the beginning of the, in the middle of the discussion, we said whether virtual reality can replace the laboratory, and then we said maybe there is no laboratory in the future replacement, because everything is changing, everything can become simulation. I believe in the future the only job will be just about thinking. People will think only, will design, just will create new things. I think they will be not busy with the hardware use or something, the usage of technology, because technology will be very just basic. Maybe like, you know, in the movie 2020, there was a movie, I think just showed, I think Mohammed just showed in his slide. They are wearing just cloth with the sunglasses, and when someone is touching you in the virtual life, you feel it. Like in real life, someone is just pushing you, you feel it. Even when someone is shooting you, you feel it in some low level. Because technology is becoming like that, because now is maybe people just using a virtual glass, but in the future they will use virtual dress actually, and they will feel everything, every pixel of their body. They will be, I think they will start feeling in the virtual life in the future. And we just discussed this, there is no end to the discussion of the education, because everyone has an idea about education, because we are human. But I want to discuss also some point, but I think I let you go to sleep, because distance education started with the educationist, because mailing the textbook was easy. But now I think it is the job of engineering anymore, not for the educationists, because it started from perspective of education. Now it's becoming more engineering job, because especially virtual reality. Now, people, if you want to just design a lab with virtual reality, educationists cannot do. But we need engineering. But in countries, there is no such a, program, department. Just there's a distance educations. They are talking about methodology and interactivism, something like that, learning theories about in education, in distance education, but they don't talk about how can we produce this one. For some computer scientists don't know about distance education concepts, because they are just computer scientists. There are distance educationists, they don't know about techniques, and scientists, computer science, they don't know about education. I think we need to combine them together to, I think, to use the potential of the distance education in the future, because people is just designing virtual reality without thinking about education, just focusing entertainments or something like that. When people trying to use it, because education approach is missing, they can't use it, because you are just creating some design in virtual reality, in augmented reality, and trying to give the people and ask them use it. And they did, how can we use it? Because their belief, their attitudes about their usefulness and their easiness is missing. For example, I always, for 3 years, I'm discussing, we need a department, like a multidisciplinary department, to combine engineering and education together for the future of the distance education, because we need to create a software for the distance education. Now, Word itself is dependent on the Moodle and Zoom. There is no, for somebody, I don't know. The creator of the Moodle is education or engineering, or both. Like, I don't know. But there are too much things to discuss. Maybe in the third edition of the international conference,
Yes.
maybe we can do it in India or in Pakistan face to face, or in Brazil
Most
as well.
welcome.
I am planning at the end of the conference, I will ask the people, authors and keynote speakers, who want to organize the third one.
Oh, great.
Okay, thank you very much. If you want to add something, please contribute to the discussion. But I'm going to publish this record on YouTube. People will see someone under the blanket.
Yeah, actually, at the last point that you just talked about, so for example, we are developing this AR content right now. So what we are doing, first we are writing the script. And the script is written by the subject matter experts. Basically, we are targeting the three subjects within the science, that's the physics, chemistry, and biology. And we are inviting all these people into our institute. Before, I'm talking about this before this COVID, but now everything is online they are doing. Then they are writing the script on the basis of the uh, content which is given on our textbook, because we are developing the marker base that the image is given, so for example, chapter number 4, image number first, it's a 4.1 image is given that it will be used as a target, so the learner can use that textbook and then scan, and then everything will be live as a augmented reality. So first we are calling the subject matter expert, they are developing the script. Then the other team, they are reviewing the script. And then the language, our own language faculties, for example, we are developing in English, then the English language literature faculty, they are looking up for the grammar. And then the script goes to our engineers, then they are developing the content, and whatever they are developing as a draft, they are submitting it to the subject matter expert for the first review before developing the before finalizing the content. And then after development, it goes to the other team for the review process. And then if we need a voiceover, then step to step voiceover is written by the again subject matter expert. Then it go to the audio department for the checking, and they are recording this and then giving it back. And after packaging, again it going to the review process with teacher and students both. Okay, and after whatever we have the feedback, then it is again packaged by the engineer and it is given within that app. So that model we are developing, we are not letting alone engineers as a separate, but it is works with the pedagogy, what we have the pedagogy along with the subject matter experts. So that's currently we are developing in this process.
We also do the same process in Turkey, but it is time consuming. Because because you are designing, you are asking to the hierarchy like step 1, step 2, step 3. But if step 1 knows engineering and education at the same time, it will be very more quick. Because even, for example, I give you one example. We have a high performance computing center. For example, there are 30 servers in that computer center. But today, to be able to use the HPC, you need to use parallel programming. Some people are coming to us, can we use it? We say, of course, if you know Linux and parallel programming, you can use it. But they're asking us, but we don't know parallel programming. You know, as a computer scientist, okay, we can help you. And at that point, they are trying to explain their purpose. They are explaining their PhD topics. And we are saying, I think we need 3 years to understand you. Because first of all, I have to understand your topic, and then I can do parallel programming. Yeah, that's why, because it is time consuming. For example, if everyone, because in this center, if you want to use a computer, you have to know the parallel programming, because all the computer processor has a multiple cores. There is no single course anymore. For example, every person must know, but no. For example, only Windows operating system is running the multiple cores behind the Windows operating system in the computer. This is what I am discussing for 3 years. Time consuming. How can we quick, accelerate the process? Because if students know engineering and education better, it will help us. But on this pandemic days, we are dependent on distant education. And distant education before the pandemic days also was popular after the after face-to-face education, but there is no basement for the distant education as a department, as an academic branch. They are separation. For example, education is doing something, giving to engineering, engineering doing something, giving to education. They are discussing again, and going back, design, changing the design again, and giving the scientist again. What about just educate new department and teach at in the first year, teach the concept of distant education and learning terms to students, and in the second term, teach the nested programming, object-oriented language, and together. For example, we have to, I believe, we have to, educate people with a purpose. For example, everyone can do a computer scientist. We can, educate computer scientists, but computer scientists must have a purpose to prepare their software applications. For example, my purpose is for education, distant education. I am going to generate application for distant education because I know, because distant education needs many software now. But we are just doing everything with Zoom and Moodle. And because of this reason, we can't express to the characteristic of people. For us, male, female, old, young, all of them is same because we have the same application, Moodle. That means we can't customize the application based on the characteristics of people because we don't have choice. Okay, thank you very much.
Actually, two points, small quick points. In pandemic, it is not distance education what we are doing. It is actually emergency remote teaching which we are doing.
Yeah, force in education.
Yes, we need to convert it into at least remote emergency remote education from emergency remote teaching. And second, when you were saying to speeden it up, hopefully when the Google has come up with its quantum computer, which can solve the problem, which a supercomputer will take 10,000 years. 10,000 years by a supercomputer, the quantum computer can solve it within 200 seconds. And IBM was feeling, aggressive about it. So they say that, okay, we can also do it in 2.5 days. But still there is a big difference between 10,000 years to 2.5 days and 200 seconds only. So I wish you on your next birthday as a gift, a quantum computer, then you can speeden up the things.
Because even this point summarized it, because big companies solve the problem. Big companies.
Or they can create or you never know, they are creating the problem rather than solving it.
Because, at the beginning I said, we don't need lab because some companies will generate all the hardware and there will be no need for the lab because only few smart people is needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, see you tomorrow at 12:30 for the second day of the virtual reality lab. Have a good night, good sleep. I think now it's 10 o'clock in Turkey, but I think it's 12 in India.
Here it is already good morning now.
Okay. But Alfredo, yeah, he will go to the, I think, swimming pool, something like that. Okay.
Here you are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You are lucky. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can force me wake up in the morning based on your time. And we will change our position, swap the position. Okay.
Okay.
Have a good day, MUZAMMAL and Yash,
Okay.
Ramesh, and Alfredo.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And
Bye-bye, guys.
I am
Bye-bye.
closing the discussion panel.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.